Hey everybody, Freedom Chef here, Dean McRae, because I don't hide behind a real alias. I just give myself a little nickname, because it's kind of fun and amusing, and it's a bit of a thing that sometimes people do. A lot of people have actual aliases and kind of hide because they're worried about being doxxed and shit. Dox me all day, I don't care. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and everybody in between, the presidential debate last night. Yeah, well, it was yesterday morning in Australia. It was last night in America. And at 3 a.m. this morning, I was on an interview with the really, really cool Adam Kokesh in America. Adam Kokesh is a really cool guy. I've made some really good friends doing this Resolute TV stuff with some really cool American libertarians that have got some great runs on the board. And Adam's one of these guys. He was kind enough to host me on his show to talk about... we ended up doing a comparison between... just how communist Australia is versus just how communist America is, and we sort of aligned it up with the Communist Manifesto. Good job, Karl Marx, you dummy. Look, it was kind of fun. It was a bit tongue-in-cheek, and it was all right. We also had a bit of a vibe about the things going on and the libertarian movement, the Libertarian Party, and he questioned why we would call our Libertarian Party the Liberal Democrats, and we had a bit of a chat about it, and I'm really proud of our Liberal Democrats, and I'm really proud of our libertarian vibe. A few people online aren't happy with how non-political libertarians are, which means you don't get the fucking point. The whole point of libertarians being in politics is to be anti-political. That's what we do. People ask me all the time, what made you want to get into politics? The answer is nothing. I don't want to get into politics. What I do want to do is stop the tyranny, stop being overlorded by dumpies, because I can tell you, and there are some people in Parliament that I got a little bit of respect for as individuals, but as a collective, bunch of dummies, and I don't want them ruling my life. I don't want them ruling your life. I don't want them telling you what to do, and I don't want them stealing your shit. It's pretty straightforward. Now, Adam and I, we chopped it up because we sort of believe very similarly. That our two countries, the libertarian movement, should be working together, sharing ideas. Jo Jorgensen's running for president in the United States, and I'm about to reach out to her and invite her onto Resolute TV. So if she's watching, great, Jo, come on board. Now, as far as I'm concerned, out of the debates that I watched yesterday between the Donald and the Biden, now, everybody knows that I've got a bit of a soft spot for Donald Trump. Not because I agree with all of his shit, but I find him funny. I kind of like how brash he is, and I like that he's bang out of order and a lot of stuff. Just says what he thinks, and he has a bit of a red-hot crack. And I like that about his personality. And when he calls Joe Biden Sleepy Joe Biden, I look at Sleepy Joe Biden and I think, you know what? He lives up to the name. The guy's dead in the water. He's a dead fish. What the hell is he going to lead? 47 years and not doing much. Now, I disagree with Trump on some stuff, but at least the guy seems to be awake when he's operating. Jo Jorgensen, though, runs mental laps around both these dummies. One, she's not 90 and about to die. She's in pretty good health, pretty good nick. Still plays hockey, from what I understand. An actual doctor. And guess how many sexual assault charges Joe's had on her record? None. No claims, no accusations, nada. Not a one. Adam pointed it out fairly well. You've got the pussy grabber versus the kitty sniffer. Now, that's fucked up. That's what we've got essentially leading the free world. And don't get confused, because Australia's not fucking much better. The guys over here are so half-assed it hurts my head. You've got the overly happy clap Scott Morrison with his religion, which pray to whoever you want to pray to. I'm fine with it, but it has no place in the day-to-day operations of politics. What it does do, religion, is it has a place in people's families and in people's homes, if they choose to have it there. That choice has to be for the people. So when I see somebody like ScoMo crapping on about Hillsong in political circles, it doesn't add up to me. And in saying that, I don't want it abolished from the home, because I feel like some people need to have some rules written down, because clearly they haven't got them inbuilt. So to look, a certain bloke, I won't call you out by name, mate, because I actually think you're not a bad bloke. But you ask the question always, why can't libertarians get elected? Why are they such fuck-ups? Why won't they compete politically? And it was suggested I need to read Machiavelli's The Prince. For the record, it's on the bookshelf in the wall behind me in the next room. I've read it cover to cover. I get it. I don't want to be that big of a scumbag. Right? I don't want to do it for power. I don't want to do it for money. Right? I don't want to do that shit. I get it. I understand it. I'm probably quite equipped to do it, to be fair, if I really wanted to do it. Right? But we don't want to rule people. We're libertarians. Here's the problem. You guys who call yourselves the little L's, you're definitely little, right? Because you haven't got the courage of your convictions to take the next step. And you go, well, I'm a little L, so I'll take it to the conservative. And we all know what a conservative party is. It's a glorified communist party with slightly different colours. They wear, the blue instead of the red. And, it's all a big show and it's all bollocks, right? The little L is the reason the big L's don't get the traction you want. Because at the end of the day, you go, I'd like to support the Liberal Democrats, or in America, the Libertarian Party, or whoever. And you know what you do? You vote for the Liberal Party in Australia, or the Republicans in America. And you get what you deserve, which is these donkeys. You get the control freaks, you get the psychos, you get Dan Andrews down in Victoria, carrying on like a lunatic. You get your Mark McGowan's over there talking in WA about, there's almost Clive Palmer specific laws, like sort your life out, son, let's waste $30 million Australian taxpayer funds on picking a fight because Clive's kicking your ass. I think Clive's a dick, not the point. Clive's correct, the borders should be open. And that same lunatic has the audacity to suggest that with COVID nonsense, if you're tested with COVID, he wants to put an ankle bracelet on you. Fuck off! You don't put ankle bracelets on pedophiles. Don't start putting them on people because they're sick. The hell is wrong with you psychopath? And as for the Sheila in Queensland, I know Sheila. I used the word. Hey? Alright, it's not politically correct. I'm hearing you. But Palaszczuk, she's off at shop. She's just jumped into bed with Adani. Now her and the Greens are at fucking war. This is all nonsense, right? If Adani creates jobs, meets some mandatory minimums, and that's all government really has to offer. Some mandatory minimums. That's the only reason you dickheads are there. Come up with mandatory minimums and then get the hell out of the way. That's it. Anything more than that is overreach, and you're sticking your nose in people's business when you've got no need to be there. But she's jumped into bed with Adani. The Greens are upset. The border's not quite open yet. But she's happy enough to fly AFL guys in there and then make ads about how brave they are for flying through the border to go and play a game of AFL for, I don't know, what are they, $100,000 a year? I'm not sure what the salary cap is in that game. All these games are different. But I'm sure they're not on the poverty line like most of the Australians who can't work. Dummies. Gladys Berejiklian has probably proven to be very clever. Because you know what she's done? Not fucking much, which is about what politicians should do most of the time. Right? She's actually kept her head under the parapet after the first lot of lockdowns, and she's allowed Andrews to look like a complete maniac. She's allowing Palaszczuk to look like a complete maniac, so she'll just sneak through quietly and nobody will notice she's there. So back to this friend of mine, and I'll call him a friend because, mate, I've got no negative feelings toward you, but you threw out my result at the election. I'm not going to sell my soul to get elected as a libertarian by doing socialist shit or communist shit. That would defeat the whole purpose. Now, if that means we never get elected, which, to be fair, we've had a couple of guys get in, and they haven't had to sell their soul too far, but it's you guys who claim to be libertarians while jerking off with the Conservative Party, and there are somewhat libertarian people in the left wing of Australian politics, because we're centrist without being centrist. Financially conservative, socially liberal. If the government's spending your money, they should be responsible with it. It's bad enough they steal it in the first place. If you want to have sex with your boyfriend or your sister's cousin's mother's uncle, or I don't really care, and smoke pot while you're doing it, I don't care. Not my business, not your business. That's between these guys. All right? So if they want to be transgendered, I don't care. Whatever it is, do what you like. Don't affect other people. You want to steal people's money? You better fucking spend it wisely and respectfully, which, let's be fair, doesn't happen very often despite the bullshit. Have a look at how dirt. Coronavirus is... I'm not going to say it's a fake thing, because there's clearly a virus. It's clearly overblown, it's clearly exaggerated, and the totalitarians are having a good time. And anybody who thinks that the Liberal Party is going to save them isn't paying attention. The Labor Party's having a field day. Bottom line is, the little L crowd are the ones that empower the Conservative Party or the Labor Party to do bugger all. You talk about it, oh, we're going to fix it from the inside. I smell complete and utter bullshit. And when I hear somebody say something along the line of, there's probably more Libertarians in the Liberal Party than there is in the entire Liberal Democrats, I've got to come back fairly solid and say, again, I smell more bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because if there were as many Liberal Democrats in the Liberal Party or more, there's no way any of this bullshit would be going on if there was a Liberal Democrat Prime Minister at the moment. So, there's your answer. It works the same for the Libertarians in America. They have this bad habit of putting principle above politics. Now, I know that hurts your feelings, but we don't want a ruling class. We want to get elected and leave everybody the hell alone. We have more faith in you people in managing your own lives. So, that's the answer to the question. That's why Libertarians probably don't feature the way we should. And in saying that, before I wind up, if you get nominated to run for office, the media should be placing every viable candidate on every media platform with an equal amount of time. I don't give a rat's ass. Now, it's been pointed out to me that there's no way Joe Jorgensen should have been in the debate with Trump and Biden, or should I say the pussy grabber and the kitty sniver, right? I've been told that she shouldn't have because she doesn't poll well enough. Well, how in the blue hell is she supposed to get to the point where she polls well enough when it's only two donkeys that get the mainstream media? There's only two guys that get a platform. Now, had Joe been in that debate, and even the Greens, Sheila, I don't know what their capability is, the Greens person, human, I don't know, right? But if the Greens candidate was on there as well, or if you're a registered party, costs a lot of money to get registered, a lot of voters to get registered, a lot of commitment, time, effort. There's protocols and there's hoops you've got to jump through just to get registered to be eligible to nominate. So if you're eligible to nominate, you've got to that point. You're at the point where you are polling something. Why don't you get the same platform as everyone else? And I'll use Larry Sharpe, who ran for governor of New York in 2018, as a very good example. He is an epic guy, and he would have debated the living shit out of Andrew Cuomo and whatever the Republican guy's name was, because he was so insignificant. They could have put a ham sandwich in there against the Cuomo, and he would have got his ass whooped, because that's just how the seat is. Sharp would have pounded them both into the ground. He was far smarter than the pair of them put together. No way in the world did they let him on the ballot, not let him on the ballot, didn't let him on the TV screen. Because how you can't have a libertarian polling well, or a green, or some other lunatic, an independent, whatever. People go, they can't poll very well, why should they get a spot on the debates? It's like, if you don't give them a shot, once they get to that level anyway, to be in the debates, how does Joe Jorgensen whoop Trump's ass and make a whole country go, hang on a minute, the current president of America, the United States of America, how is it that she just kicked his ass in a debate and she came across as lucid and sensible and well thought out with a great bunch of principles and policies, but only 10 people know about it because every time she tries to sell the dream, or the two interviews I got to do during the Eden Monero election while the Liberal and Labor Party, Sheila, got whatever they wanted and debates, and it was fantastic. I think I got invited to two things, well done. And I know Ricardo Buzzy got a little bit more because in some ways he's actually more controversial than I am. But you tell me, if Joe Jorgensen was on that debate stage yesterday and pounded both of those two pensioners into the ground mentally, intellectually, policy-wise, You don't think all of a sudden her polling numbers might jump? You don't think there's going to be an awful lot of people in America, or when Australian Libertarians run, or again, Australian Independents or One Nation or whoever, if they don't get the same amount of game time? I'm fairly sure there are some really, really sharp candidates. I don't usually mention myself because I'm here to raise hell and cause a bit of trouble and, get the profile up for the libertarian dream. I don't really want to be a politician. I'm here to hold these bastards accountable. But there are some excellent candidates out there who have every validation for being in Parliament. You could justify the shit out of them tomorrow without even thinking twice about it. And yet instead we've got these half-wit dumpties. Like, I'm sorry, Joe Biden, but after 47 years, mate, you need to be put out to pasture. If you're the best the Democrats have got, you're in a world of trouble. And if Trump wasn't the non-political animal he was, he wouldn't have got a shoe-in, let's be fair. If you're not going to give equal platform to all the people, well, you need to give a discount to the parties that are coming in and saying, well, you're just here to make up the numbers, so we'll give you a discount. Because I can tell you it's a very expensive thing to run for Parliament. It's very expensive to get a party registered. It's very expensive to run a campaign. It doesn't get cheaper because you're a libertarian or you're a green or you've got a smaller whatever. You know, I'm not sure about the American system as to whether or not the Libertarians pay the same amount of nomination fee for their candidate as the Democrats do. I'm not quite sure. But I know that we paid some good money to run our candidates. And while we're on the topic of candidates, there's going to be a shit ton of Liberal Democrats chasing council positions all over the country this year. So local councils, get ready. You're going to actually learn what a bit of freedom's like. They've just released a whole crew down in Victoria. And I'm really proud to say some of them I know well, some of them I've met, some of them I haven't met. A-grade people, real people, doing real things, who just care about freedom and liberty and people being able to live their damn lives without some donkey in an office making demands and putting out intimidating shit on how you should live your life. So I'm going to wrap this up. So to my friend who wanted to know why the Libertarians politically fuck things up, the reason we fuck things up is because we're anti-political. We actually hate the system as it is. We're not going to become a part of it and sell our souls so that you can say, well, see, they're part of the team. No, we don't want to be part of the team. We want to actually collapse the game, change the sport, and bring in a whole new way of thinking, a whole new attitude, and a whole new setup. And you're welcome to join us. And if you're not quite converted yet, you'll probably get there. There aren't too many people that can spend a lot of time with me and not at the end of it be somewhat more libertarian or somewhat more free thinking. And you're welcome to join. The door's open. We're a welcoming crew. So guys, have a great night. Do no harm. Take no shit. And I'll talk to you all again very soon.